You people are not strong. It cannot happen here, Uguta. Don't worry. If you come here, we will show them who we are. You are gullible and stupid. That is why you think that way. Here we don't pity ourselves. We make sure in order to sanitize our brains, because the first thing in a revolution, you must have the revolution of the mentality of the brain. Without it, we cannot contain or put in or sustain a real revolution. It is impossible. As I said, there has been many revolutions that happened in Africa, but it's unsustainable. Because the people, majority of the people, we are not sanitized brain-wise. Revolution of the brain. That is number one. That is why the Europeans were able, in order to sustain their revolution till death, and it became their character. When you see how they behave, how polite they are, how civilized they are, it is not their job. It is something that was sustained through dictatorship, through hammer, through law, through everything, so that the resultant effect is the advancement you are seeing today. Can't you reason? Okay, you think in a revolution they'll come and beg you, nah, are you drinking Coca-Cola or gin or white wine? Which one? So that you do the right thing. Who born you? In a revolution, it sweats like a flood. In a real revolution. And before it comes to reality, that flood, that revolution must occur in your brain. As you are talking, now you see different people, millions of people thinking the same way, with the same value. That is when you have successful revolution. So that when you sweep out the status quo, it goes out forever. Because when you are fighting against evil, evil is fighting back. Did you know that? When you are fighting, just like they say, fight corruption, corruption is fighting back. It is the same thing, it is reality. When you are fighting evil, evil is trying to fight back, to come back. It is like that. So one day, it is something that should be sustained. French Revolution is an example. All these people I mentioned, they try to fight back in order to retain the monarchy, in order to retain the corrupt monarchy, but they were overwhelmed because the people, they sustained the momentum, because they were first of all revolutionized in their brain. That is why they were able to sustain the momentum. It's not only that, even in Germany, that is why they were able. Do you understand? The German Empire, its predecessors, the Holy Roman Empire and German Confederation, operated under counter-revolutionary principles. It was a quagmire. It was a quagmire, a monarchical federation, crushing up attempted uprisings. Do you understand? In 1848. But the people, they persevered. Do you understand me? They persevered, and the revolution ended, because it doesn't, as they were persevering, people were being slaughtered, because you are fighting against evil. Evil, they have entrenched themselves, as they did in Nigeria. Do you see even the NSAS protests? Do you see how it went? Because evil entrenched themselves in the name of politicians in Nigeria. All of them, they ran away and started mobilizing and fought back. Within, before you know, the people, the comrades turned against each other. And those evil triumph and say, oh, these people, we know how to catch them. They turned the comrades against each other through tribalism. That is why our leader said, there will never be a successful national revolution in Nigeria. It is impossible, because we don't have the same value. No matter that we are being clogged, amalgamated into one quagmire called the country. It's impossible. What should happen in Nigeria is spontaneous regional revolution. I say spontaneous, regional, but spontaneous. It will be spontaneous as it is. Deal with your own people as you want. Kill them. They pursue all those evil politicians. As is happening in the west, it's happening in the east, it's happening in the northwest, it's happening in the northeast. That is if maybe it's happening in south, in Biafra land. We need democracy as our life is. In the north, if they want, let them use Sharia. That under the pretext of Sharia, that Sharia, their politicians are going against the Sharia law. Do you understand? By being corrupt. So they will use that ideology in order to pursue. So that is what it means. Regional but spontaneous revolutions. It doesn't matter your ideology, use it in your own region. We use our own ideology in our own region in order to conduct our revolution. Because evil is evil. It doesn't matter in any religion or in any culture. That is it. But when you come out and say, okay, we are on Nigeria revolution now. Yeah, rise up, everybody, come and join me. Let us revolutionize and remove this person. They will laugh at you. That's why I see. Sorry to say, but I used to see this man as a joker. He used to remind me of Tinubu when Tinubu was gallivanting also I think in the 80s and 90s. Fighting, talking, even he ran away. No, in Nigeria there is no equality. Revolution. These people, there is a way they behave. Any person that is trying to lie to you or lie to himself that he will make Nigeria better if it's him, or he will protest and everything will be good in Nigeria, he is a criminal. I used to see them as criminals. Joe Ibokwe was in the 80s. He was he was marginalized in Nigeria. We are one Nigeria. We're even more Nigeria than every other person. If they don't allow us, we will carry gun and go back to Biafra. Joe Ibokwe you are seeing today, that is talking, that is a demon talking from both sides of his mouth. But when they train them, do you know the pep talks they used to receive when, like this our man that is doing revolution now? They used to converse with politicians, Nigerian politicians. They will mellow you down, and as they are training you, mellowing you down, you are maturing in criminality. You are maturing in wickedness, in evil. You are growing, your age, you are passing. A time will come when you are 60-something, 70-something. Now you change your voice. Now this thing we are doing. You will see, he will, maybe if he, for example, if Nigeria exists at that time he enter office, he will be the person to be clamping down, doing worse than what he protested against. That is one thing I see in African politicians, so-called politicians. There you know that they are not the ones controlling themselves. They are being controlled by external power with their greed and evil characters. That thing they saw at the early time, they now renounce it. No, it's not. I beg, no more. Now they welcome them into the circle of cannibalism. People that feed on people's misery. You will see, if you bring out his video of a revolution now that happened maybe 30 years ago, he will tell you that time, even he will deny it, say it's photoshopping. Like Tinubu, if we bring out what he thought that time, how Nigeria how we have to restructure Nigeria, should go back to regionalism. Talk to him now about, oh God, you said this all those time, even you are pursued because of. He will find one thing or the other to cover it up. That is how Africans are inconsistent. Because as they are protesting and moving, running from one country to another, they are being met by the secret service that are using the politicians in their country. They are being invited and open their eyes in evil, telling them that, look, this thing you are saying, you cannot do it. The better thing is, the best thing for you is to join, so that we will serve our interests. We will help you to make you the president in that country. But you have to promise us that you will represent our interests. Being a greedy human being, a Neanderthal is, he will promise, he will sign it to them. And in the next 30 years, you see that young man that was saying, condemning the whole thing that is happening in that time, he will enter to be the worst. He will enter to be, he will tell you that no, we need a foreign loan. It was something he was against. So But he will enter because he is not in charge of even his life. I am talking about the anti-revolutionists, please. I will soon round it up, please. Also, even in Cuba, you have people that were anti-revolutionists. Even there's one man they call Ramirez. He fought with Fidel Castro. But the time came after he came to Fidel Castro enter power to maintain the revolution. Ramirez turned. He said no. He started seeing forth. Nah, is it only this man every time? Him. He formed his own gang. And there was problem. Anti-revolutionists started causing problem in Cuba. I'm telling you. So what we are seeing today, it is not something that is not uncommon, or that is not common. Sorry, or that is not expected. You understand? It happened everywhere, even in Europe, that many people are enjoying today, reaping where they did not sow. It happened. Even fought back. Anti-revolutionists fought back. They made sure that the status quo continued so that they continue benefiting. Do you understand? But the force of righteousness prevailed. That is revolution. And they continue, because revolution is not only what you do once and you keep quiet and say no, okay, let us continue, let us keep quiet and continue. No, it is a process. Our leader said, if Biafra is restored, we will build Biafra for 75 years non-stop, morning, afternoon, night, day and night. You know, when you look at all these things, you should understand what it means. It doesn't mean that our leader will be alive. He might not be alive till that time. It doesn't mean that I will be alive till that time, 75 years. No, it's not. But in order to sustain the revolution, things will continue going on. You go, you pass it, you make sure you pass the principles to other people, to the people coming. That is revolution. That is how it is. That is how it is being sustained. Do you understand? It is not something. It is not something that you do only once and you go and keep quiet. No, it is not like that. We should learn from history. Look at Dave Umahi launching Ebubag. When you talk about what is happening, the problem, this and that, look at these people. Look at Dave Umahi, and look at the people that joined, that he is using. Are they not Igbos? These are people that, because of money, because of they are looking for what they will eat. Now they can do anything, even if to sell their birthright. It doesn't matter. Do you see how evil people are? So that when you blame, these are our problem. Blame. What of the people? What of the people? How do you classify the people? That is the problem. That is the reality. That is the reality. The people that allow themselves to be used, they are being recruited as a bubagan. When you meet them, without this, how can we eat? Without selling your own brother, attacking your own brother, without sabotaging your future. You are sabotaging your future to feed. It's not forming a bubagan that is, or launching it, that is the issue. It is, they cannot pay teachers. Don't worry now. The problem with these politicians is they add fuel to fire. They will arm people. They pay them 1 month, 2 months after, they will not be able to pay them again. They cannot even pay the police people. They can't pay teachers. Now they are adding another burden. Don't worry, we are here now. Let's see, 1 month, 2 months. All these people, they will become, they will turn against everybody. Because they will not pay them. And if they have gone, what would they do? They will use it to start committing atrocities. That is the reality. Do you understand? We must continue. These are the anti-revolutionists in our land. Because what matters to us as a people they don't care. What matters to them is what they will get. That is why when we blame the politicians in our land, I used to ask this question. I say, these politicians, did they fall from heaven? Is it not the same people? They come from people, isn't it? They didn't fall from heaven, did they? Rather, they come from people, from the masses. So, you show me your leadership and I will tell you who you are. That is how it is. These people that are entering Ebubago in order to kill, pinpoint their own brothers that are suffering like them to be slaughtered. Imagine if they enter to be presidents or to be governors. Won't they do more than who pulls of them? It's a very intelligent question you should ask yourself. Won't they do more than devil mind? As they have accepted in order to sell their brother just for 20 or 30,000 naira monthly, which they will pay them 1 month, 2 months and finish. You hear stories. So these are the anti-revolutionists in our midst. We need to revolutionize the brain of most of our people before we can sustain this revolution, this restoration effort. That is the main revolution. But we first of all need to revolutionize the brains of our people, to sanitize it. Not people that anything, when is our leader can't talk about our leader? They use sentiment, they hide under sentiment in order to commit the atrocities. Do you understand? Oh, the DOS, we must wrestle Radio Biafra from them because you are simply an idiot. You understand? You are simply an idiot. That is the reality. Okay. I wanted to play. Let me play this clip of Devil Mine before I open my lines. Let me play it. Listen, please. When he was launching a so-called Ebubago.
The Southeast Security Outfit and my state command. Let me say before now, we've always had vigilantes called the neighborhood watch. And when our people insisted that we must have uniformity in our local chiefs, I can say that over 60% of the governors have assented to this Ebubago law. And my state was the second to do this. And the first was Imo State. And that is the law of the state on Ebubago passed by the State House of Assembly. This will not throw their hands. We have extended only branch to all our youth that are in the bush, being brainwashed.
Are you listening? They form a Ebubago in order to fight ESN, that is fighting our enemies in the bush. Do you hear him? These are anti-revolutionists that will be in history. When Biafra is restored, it will be in the history that these people, as I call the names of people in Cuba and in Europe, in France, that resisted the advancement they have today. At the early time, they were resisting it. This is what these people, they want us. Now, what I want to ask, these people that gather there, are they Fulani? They are all Igbo people mostly. The people that have been employed, they are Igbos. When you meet them, you ask them, they say, oh boy, we need to, no job, we need to have a work. That is how Britain, Europe formed, come to Africa. You see one European commander, he is commanding 5,000 black Africans with rifle to go and invade and kill their own brothers for the benefit of the Europeans. When you ask them, the Ghana, West African Frontier Force, made up of mostly Ghanaians and some Hausa platoon. You ask them the same reason they are giving to the boy, no work. Well, these people, they are paying also, we need to, they are paying for you to go and kill your own brothers. Do you see the problem we are having? So that when you call, start blaming heaven and earth. What these people that are gathered in this stadium, these people that are being recruited as a bubago to go and fight ESN that is fighting, clearing our bush for us against the headsmen, the terrorist killers. When we complain, how many years did we complain? Our leader have been shouting here for the eastern region to form their own security outfit, the governors. Every day by day, day in, day out, our people were killed, raped in farms. And all that Devil Mai came to tell you is that we are elected not to do the wish of the people that elected us, but to maintain the tenets of the Nigerian Constitution. It's on record. Now, when our leader formed ESN, all hell broke loose. And they were doing a nice job. Stopping the terrorists from killing our people, raping our people. Now that is when they rose up. You see, the anti-revolutionists, they rose up in order to fight those that are fighting our enemies. Who are they using? Is there Vomahi going to fight into the bush? Is she then going to fight? No, it's still people. It's still our people that are being used. So when you blame heaven and earth, blame yourself first. That's it. The problem we are having is from us direct. Those today that are fighting, trying to capture Radio Biafra, are they Fulani? No, they are our people. We trusted. Some of them, we trusted them. Our leader trusted them and put them into some strategic missions. Now they turned it around for their own benefit. Are you seeing the anti-revolutionists? Are you seeing them? Are you hearing them? Now they want to capture Radio Biafra. Ask yourself, capturing from what? Are you okay? You are fighting war with Ipob, and you call yourself a Biafran under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now what are you capturing Radio Biafra for? Do you see how they bring themselves out? Do you see why gullibles, when I see people that, the gullibles that are defending this anti-revolutionists, it gets to my nerves, honestly. Listen.
Governors of Southeast have vowed to empower them and to be more useful members of our society. And so I want to warn that the Bible is not there to fight any illegal or legal organization, but is there to assist the police to round out criminals and to deal with them according to the law of Nigeria. We have only one constitution, and anybody operating outside our constitution is operating illegally, and the law does not allow that. It is therefore my pleasure great appreciation of all those working with me. The SO members, the House of Assembly members, the judiciary, elders council, founding fathers, local government council, the security agencies, especially the police.
Leave this garbage. This man is speaking garbage. That they are not there to fight legal or illegal organization. Rather, they are there to fight make sure they maintain Nigerian constitution. Most of them are not maintaining Nigerian constitution by killing his own people. You know, the other day I preached it, that the Fulani, the Caliphate, they are fronting Nigeria in order to maintain, in order to save their people, to defend their people. They are using Nigeria in order to defend their people. Whereas, or to the benefit of their people. Whereas our own people, they are sacrificing us to defend Nigeria. Do you see the difference? It is vice versa. Therefore, we must deal with all these anti-revolutionists, both in our midst and outside, in the political echelon. Do you understand? The mischievous actions of some people in IPOB today is a reminder that we are fighting on all fronts. Therefore, what we are doing here on Radio Biafra London is to enlighten people so that the real and genuine revolutions would be the real and genuine revolutionists would be in the majority as against the anti-revolutionists. That is the only thing we are doing here. So that the real and genuine revolutionists will be in the majority. Because once the genuine ones are in the majority, other ones become minority, we can deal with them. Do you understand? And that is the reason why European revolutions, they succeeded. That is the reason why also American revolutions, they succeeded. Because during the American Revolution, there are people, or there were people that were against what they were doing. Oh, no, leave it. Let us at least we use a political process and instead of going this way. How can you do? We don't have army. We don't have standing army. So we continue, when our man will be elected into the British Empire Senate, now he will talk for us. And little by little, while shrewdly we will get out. George Washington, they said, no, you are talking to yourself. Come on, let's do it the hard way. These are revolutionists. Because they were revolutionized in Europe. Do you understand? Mentally. So they know what they need. They knew what they need. Or they knew what they wanted. So nothing stops them. That is why our leader says, he will stop at nothing until Biafra comes. And that is the way we are going today. Therefore, we must maintain this momentum, the status quo of moving towards revolution. And the first thing is for us to revolutionize our mindsets. Do you understand? To revolutionize our mindset. That is the first thing. Otherwise, you are going nowhere. Once our minds are highly or fully revolutionized, now every other thing will be a piece of cake. This is where I'm going to stop. I will go on few minutes breaks, and after that I will open my line so that people will start calling it. I'll be right back. Hi, this is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you via the auspices of Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi JOHNATHAN from Olu province of Biafra land. We are here live and direct on the 24th day of December in the year of our Lord 2021. Our lines are now open. Our direct line is +1 213 328 6224. I repeat, +1 213 328 6224. Our WhatsApp and Signal line is +61 405 142 547. I repeat for the second time, WhatsApp and Signal line +61 405 142 547. You can call us now and give us your view, but please remember the topic of my submission today that says the anti-revolutionists. I have a first caller. Let me go to you. I was having people calling me on direct line, but I couldn't keep them waiting. Caller on direct on WhatsApp, please start by giving us your name and where you're calling from. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mazi, go on, please.
Mazi, good evening. I am Mazi Him bless you, Mazi Jonathan.
And you too.
Him bless you. Mazi, our director must release. No matter whatever these guys are doing. I am Mazi Chinemeremobiku. I am from Abade in Wangele local government. Biafra land, all province. Mazi, your topic this evening is very, very awesome. Yes. You know, director says something. Director told us that if
we're singing out, holy, 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 it's another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 it's another Savior. Holy, 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 it's another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and it's leading the Biafrans to victory. Miyamadika, Yadika, Kakwana, no, hey, another Kelemazu Chemefo. It's an honor having you on board. Wanna sing along. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu. It's another Savior. Gonna sing along. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu. It's another Savior. Wanna sing along. Holy, 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 holy. Getting right and getting on fast now. Holy, 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 it's another Savior. Holy, 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 never freedom. It's another Savior. Never freedom. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu. It's another Savior. Another Savior.
Holy, 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 another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 holy,
Ismobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPF families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafra War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafra army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, holy, holy.
Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are. We are welcoming you to another exciting edition of Radio Biafra presentation. Due to technical reasons, we are not able to render our national anthem, but I do hope that before the conclusion of our broadcast this evening, we should be able to play it. Therefore, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to some of you, regardless of where you are domiciled. And as I did promise you, today is going to be an extraordinary session of our live presentation. Please, if you are not close to a listening device, I will suggest you try and get close to one. Inform your friends, your family, your neighbors, those who are gathered around you, that they too may participate in this very wonderful program this evening. We have the prophetess with us all the way from New York, and I'll be bringing her in very shortly. But before then, as always, we are going to hand over our proceedings to the Most High, to but I must remind those who are listening, in case you're joining us for the very first time, that this is Radio Biafra. We are live and we are direct, and the whole world is listening to us across every time zone in more than 100 countries and territories around the world. People are glued to their listening device, be it satellite, be it our applications, be it the FM in Biafra land, and also those who are following live on Facebook at Mazi Nnamdi. Make sure you are at the right one. I know most of you are streaming this live also on YouTube, and some people are hosting a watch party. I welcome each and every one of you. My name is Nnamdi. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, bar none on this very earth. The director of Radio Biafra, the director of Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of one indivisible God in heaven, Chupokita Biama Prumihενinem, Elohim Adonai El Shaddai, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We have come that freedom may prevail. We have come that Biafra may be restored. We have come that every captive in the damnable zoological republic may be set free. We have come that those that seek the truth in every way possible shall be able to find it. And those of us who are bathed in the light of the Most High shall see the glory of the restoration of Biafra in our time, that we may praise the Most High very diligently in truth and in every honesty. I am going to pray very shortly before I ask the prophetess to tell us what she has for us. And I will even ask her if she is related to Vice President Osibajo, who has been missing for a while now, because her name is Osibajo. I welcome each and every one of you once again, and we must pray. I am going to pray in English, a very simple prayer. I am going to pray the Lord's Prayer. Because when Yahweh Yeshua was on the face of this very planet, he was asked, please, Rabbi, teach us how to pray. And he said, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. He's saying, I remember very vividly that Yeshua said, lead us not into temptation. That temptation is a damnable zoological republic. And without any further hesitation, as a preamble to our undertaking this very evening, morning, afternoon, or night, it could even be your early evening, we are going to go to this woman of God all the way from New York to tell us what she has in store for us. She said Elohim gave her a message, and we want to listen to her. And if possible, I will be able to ask her some questions. Thank you very much, prophetess. Can you please hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll start once again by you giving us your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Prophetess Oyetutu Oshibajo. I'm here in New York.
Thank you very much. You're calling us from New York?
Yes, my church, Light Evangelism Ministry. Church of Light Evangelism Ministry in the Bronx.
In the Bronx part of New York, one of the 5 boroughs of New York, if I'm not mistaken.
In the Bronx part of New York, yes.
Thank you very much. And why did you decide to call me the other day when we spoke, please?
Yes, on the 1st of July, I was in the bathroom when the Holy Spirit came and started giving messages of Nigeria to me. And I ran out and I quickly picked my phone and I started recording it on the phone. And when I recorded it, I sent it to a friend. This is what God says. Then I woke up on that Friday because I did night vigil. Waking up to put on the YouTube, I just saw that, wow, this is Senator Kanu that is, I wanted to pass this message to again. And here is, I just saw the WhatsApp and the number. Say, God, you are great. So you want me to pass the message to him? He said, yes. He said, okay, I will do. I quickly had the WhatsApp on my phone and I started texting you. This is what God says. Please,
prophetess, before you continue, I have some few questions to ask you. Are you a Biafran?
No, I'm a Yoruba woman.
And are you married to a Biafran?
No, please. No, please.
Have you met me before?
Never. I said I saw you on Friday. I got your number on Friday on WhatsApp. Never.
Because people be wondering, why would a Yoruba woman be listening to Radio Biafra? And a prophetess, for that matter, somebody who runs a church in New York.
I will not be afraid of a message given to me. This is not the first time of giving messages. Even America knows I give messages.
Please go ahead.
So this is not the first time. When God sent me, I follow. God wants peace in Nigeria. And if you look at my Twitter, I'm always going there to say, God says we should be one Nigeria. We will never be divided. We are one under one umbrella. He has been saying that. I've been going on the Twitter to say that. But on Wednesday, January 1st, he gave me the breakdown of how he wants it to be. He said Nigeria must be in 4 regions. The Northerners, the Biafra, the Ojudua, and the Middle Belt. 4 regions under Nigeria, he said. You are all under Nigeria. No, we are all Nigerians, but we are in a different regions. He said, I've been in different regions. We can make our regions as great as we want. It's in our hands. But in each region, you still have your AP, what are the names of your political parties? They are still there. We still have HAUSA-SERVICE. They are still there. We still have vice presidents. and we have presidents and vice presidents. We still have our Senate. They are still there. But the 4 regions will be bringing out their people. The presidency, when they want to do it, if now Hausa and Yorubas are there, it will turn to the Biafra and the Middle Belt later. Because now it's like the Ojibwa and the Northerners, which is called the Fuas, that is Fulanis and Hausas. They are the one that is called the Fuas, which is Northerners. The Fuas, which are Northerners, the Ojibwas, the Biafrans, and the Middle Belt. Nigeria should be in those 4 regions. We have a president, we have a vice president, that when it comes to your region to pick yours, it will be your region picking it. You will pick the best candidates you want, and you can trust that it will not go and disgrace your region when it gets there. People you know they can do it. So each region with their political party will pick they will do it among themselves to pick their candidates. And they will go every 4 years, no 2 terms. That is what God says. No 2 terms. They will be rotating it between the 4 regions. If a region brings president out, the other one will bring vice president out. And then we will have what we call the federal and the state tax. Each region and state will take your tax, but there will be federal tax. What will be the federal tax doing? The federal tax will govern the affairs of the 4 regions. So the president and the vice president still controls Nigeria. You want to have your money, have your money.
What do you mean by want to have your money? You mean if I want to have my Biafra currency? Is that what you're saying?
If you have your Biafra currency, have your Ojibwa currency. But when it comes to interacting, you will still be using Naira. Naira still stands. Whatever you do in your region, we don't care. But Naira still stands. You will use Naira to communicate with other regions. So Naira still have its power. And Naira will still be used internationally. So whatever you are doing in your region, as region, you may have your heads that will come out and always speak to the vice presidents, to the presidents and the vice presidents all the time. It will not be crowded. And in every region, their governors will control each state as they are under the region. And then, as the governor controls, they still have one person. It's not president. It's not.
So what you're talking about, in effect, if I understand you correctly,
yes,
is a form of restructuring. Is that correct?
Exactly, Nigeria.
I wanted
everybody
to.
will be happy.
Yes, I'm coming. I gave you this opportunity to be able to speak to the whole world because I believe in democracy and not just freedom of speech, but divergence of opinion and of thought. I don't want people to be hearing just the voice of those of us who are campaigning vociferously for an independent state of Biafra. Now, there are some questions I want to ask you because to me, it seems to me, considering what we have to analyze this evening and go through, that whatever you may have seen could be referring to the past. Because I have here in front of me the text of what transpired at Haburi. And what transpired at Haburi involved quite a lot of people. And I will tell you right now, this very minute, the names of those that went to Haburi to discuss this same thing that you're talking about. And then, if it is the will of God, as you said, it is, that there should be a division into 4 regions. Now, my question is, why didn't it happen then? But I'm going to come to that in a minute. I want to let you understand that what you're talking about has been tried in the past. Exactly what you're saying.
Even know.
No, I'm
I
coming.
don't even know.
I'm telling you now that's happened. It is here. I have it here. And I want it to be posted. This is a transcript from the tape of the recording in Aburi, where exactly what you're saying now, prophetess, what you're saying now was discussed between January 5 and January 7, 1967. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that what you saw is not out of place. But maybe God was showing you how Nigeria could have been had they behaved themselves in the late 60s. Let me tell you those who went to discuss exactly what you're telling us tonight. Those who were there were the Lieutenant General Joe Ankara, who is the host, the then head of state of Ghana, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, the chief of army staff, who announced himself as the supreme commander when Hiroshi went missing in Yorubaland in Ibadan, when he was being hosted by Fati. Lieutenant Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, who was the military governor then of Eastern Nigeria, Colonel Robert Adeyinka Adebayo, the military governor of Western Nigeria, Lieutenant Colonel Hassan Katsina, military governor of Northern Nigeria, Lieutenant Colonel David Ejo, military governor of Western Nigeria, Major Mobolaji Johnson, the military governor of Lagos, and also Alhaji Khan Salem, the deputy inspector general of police. Also present were Mr. T. Omo Barry and also Commodore Akinwole Way, the chief of naval staff. This is to tell you, prophetess, that everybody, the Nigerians you're talking about, they assembled, all of them. From Fulani or Hausa Fulani, as the case may be, from Yoruba, from the Midwest, and from Biafra. Everybody gathered to discuss this thing you're saying in Ghana between the 5th of January to the 7th of January of 1967. Now they discussed all the things that you saw in your vision or in your message. All of that had been discussed in the past. They discussed it. They sat down and they agreed that there will be devolution of power to the various regions within the country. Now I want you to go back and ask God, why did it not happen in 1967?
Can I answer that?
Please do.
God's time is the best in everything we are doing in life. No man has the power of God. You may want it that time. It is not yet ripe for God to manifest it. When it involves God, it will surely stand. No one wins God. When it comes to God, when you say God says, no matter who you are, you have to bow under that umbrella. And whoever don't want to listen to it, God himself will deal with them. The one you are saying in 1967, which I don't even know about, God is my weakness. This one came July 1st. I stand by the throne. The God who called me. I did not know.
I'm not disputing what you're saying.
I'm just telling you that it is God's time.
Yes. Now I want to know that, are you aware that there are Yoruba people, Oduduwa people I prefer to call them, there are Oduduwa people in Benin Republic in Dahomey? Is that correct?
All this history, you just say it. I'm just a woman of God to give a message of God.
No, because I want to know, because what I'm trying to understand is that I want you to be able to, perhaps, you will come back again, you will go back again and go back to God and say to God, but this happened in 67 and 5 million people died as a result of it, because this wanted to happen and they killed 5 million people in order to make this type of Nigeria you're talking about now not to happen. Now, what I want to know is, there are Yoruba people, Oduduwa people in Benin Republic, which is nearby to us, Benin Republic. Now, the reason why I have slight difficulties with this is this. Before the white man came, the Yoruba, the Oduduwa people, we are all one people. From Kogi all the way to present day Dahomey, Benin Republic. All one people. They speak the same Yoruba language, or should I say Oduduwa language. There was no problem. Now, the God in heaven, they worshipped Oluwa. No problem. Now the white man came, or should I say Europeans came, and divided the Yoruba nation into two. Now you have a part of them not designed by God. Now you have a part of Yoruba people in Benin Republic, and you have another set of Yoruba people in Nigeria. Now what I'm asking is that why would God before create an entire Yoruba race, and then all of a sudden ask the white man to come and cut them into two? The white man came and cut them into two, and instead of the Yoruba to go back and look for their people and have one beautiful big Yoruba nation that stands present day Benin Republic and Nigeria, why would Yorubas just confine themselves to Nigeria, knowing fully well that we tried this thing you're suggesting now that God told you about in 67, and 5 million people died? What makes you to believe that people will not die again if they try it?
They will never. It's only the enemies that will die. Those who are stubborn, who don't want to listen to God, they are the one he will face. Me, I'm just a servant.
I know.
And this is not the first time I will give a message. I am just a servant. And when he sent me, how he will do it is none of my business. I'm just a servant. How he will do it, how he will face the stubborn enemy, what he will do to make it stand. Me, he just told me July 1st. I don't know what is happening before.
Yes.
So I am saying what God is saying. And how the peace of Nigeria will stand. This is what he sent me to come out to say. And I am saying it. Whoever wants to come and confront me for saying it.
No, nobody's confronting you. No.
I am not afraid of them, because this is the word of God. He said there should be no war in Nigeria, because he said so many people have bought ammunition to kill innocent ones. He said they will face themselves and destroy themselves. He has given the 4 regions under Nigeria. If we did not get it in 1967, as you say, it was not yet God's time.
And what is stopping it from happening? Why do we need to fight for it? Because a lot of people, a lot of respected people are talking about a man that I have very much regard for, Paya de Banjo. They are discussing it. People are talking. They've been talking. These are respectable elder statesmen who saw what happened in 67. And most of them are Oduduwa people, and they're talking about it now. Why, if it is the will of God, why wouldn't it just happen? Why do we need to agitate or fight for it? I don't understand.
Okay, hold on. The way God works is beyond anyone's comprehension. His ways are not our ways. The way he will do this, all he's telling those who are ready for war is that don't fight. You will do it amicably. Those in the Biafrans will bring their elders like you to come and talk. The Oduduwas will bring their own. The Middle Belt will bring their own. The Northerners will bring their own. Anyone who don't want to listen but still wants to give us war in Nigeria will face themselves. According to 2 Chronicles 20. Look at 2 Chronicles 20. When they want to come and face the Israelites, what did God do? He said, "You be praising him." And they faced themselves. They destroyed themselves. He said, enough of bloodshedding in Nigeria. Enough. There must be love and unity. And we should all be under the same umbrella. They may tried it in 1967 because that was of men, not of God.
But the same way they tried it in 67 was the same way that Nigeria was created by a man, not by God.
Don't worry. This is God speaking. Because you don't know me,
No. I brought you to the program to give an alternative view. I don't want the world to think that we don't allow alternative views on this platform. I want people that have alternative views to come along. That's why you're speaking to us.
I am telling you, this is of God. When things are of God, He knows how He will start it from the beginning to the end. But write it down. Nigeria was in 4 regions, and we have free movement among ourselves.
Thank you very much. Prophet, I just want to say this. You are absolutely right that in your vision you saw 4 regions, and those 4 regions, they were intermingling. Everybody was visiting everybody else, because all the 4 regions will be in ECOWAS. And in ECOWAS, anybody can, you can walk up and travel to Liberia. You can travel to Katsina. You can travel to Obamasho. You can travel to Ipob. Nobody will stop you. But where I have problems, which is why I want you to go to, you're a prayerful woman. I want you to go back to God and ask for clarification. Because you saw 4 regions, which is the breaking up of Nigeria, which is absolutely correct, because that very autonomy you're talking about under Nigeria, which is now what diplomats are saying all over the world is what they want. That they don't want Nigeria to break. They want Nigeria of 4 regions, everybody doing your own thing, but your name will still be Nigeria. What I want you to go back to God to ask God is this: if it is God's will, how come God gave powers to people that will always say no to it? Why? I don't understand. If it is God's will, why would God always, through the British, give powers to the Fulani that will always say no to it? Why?
That was of men are ruling. Men are ruling. When God intervened in a thing, it was still, this is not vision.
Now,
He spoke in voice to me. I heard it when He was telling me. I quickly picked the phone. If it's vision,
I agree with you. I'm not doubting you.
Spoken voice. You too will receive it. Father, fill your son to see what you told us, so that he will calm down to get it right.
He said, now, I'm coming. When you spoke before, you said something about IPOB and this very agitation. That what was God's purpose for this very IPOB agitation? I want to know. That was something you said. Are you saying that IPOB came to fight for everybody, not just for Biafra alone? That was the way you put it.
No, I was telling you that you are fighting for Biafra.
Yes.
That the way God has given the vision, you don't have to fight for Biafra. Fight for Nigeria to be what God says it should be. A country with 4 regions. And everybody, they are in peace, harmony, love. I, as a Yoruba, can come and live in Biafra state with no problem. I can buy houses and be doing my business.
Tomorrow morning, no doubt.
So it is where everybody is. We're doing business together. The joy of the Lord is there with everyone. We are happy to call ourselves Nigerians.
That is the only point of departure we have, and that is why I said I will go back to God.
Please.
I will also go back to God, because I want to explain something to you. If it wasn't God's plan in 67, and because it wasn't God's plan, 5 million people were killed as a result of restructuring. Now, what made it to also fail again in 2014, when Jonathan called for the confab, and the Fulanis walked out? They didn't want it. So I keep wondering, if this very matter is God's will, how come in 67 5 million people died because of it? Not to break away. Ojukwu wasn't breaking away from Nigeria. Ojukwu, as this very transcript proves to everybody, was for regional decentralization, autonomy for the regions. Now, 5 million died. Again in 2014. Even before then, they've had a series of confabs. People from the south, by which I mean Oduduwa and Biafra, they canvassed for regionalization, exactly what God showed you. and the Fulani said no. So this is about the 4th time that they have said no. If somebody got them round the table and they said no, Wole Soyinka has been campaigning for sovereign national conference, maybe to give birth to these very 4 nations you're talking about, and it never worked. So I am wondering, in what order is God going to send angels from heaven to come and tell the Fulanis that this is His will? I don't understand it. That's why I said you should go back to God and ask Him
I don't need to go back to God. My God always talk once. He has never repeated himself twice. The God I serve is the Almighty King, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Of course.
He
No doubt
has never
about
made a mistake. It's not a God you question. It is not a God you question.
No, we are not questioning God. We are saying that
the Almighty King.
Yes.
When He says yes, it's yes, it's yes. And it's no, it's no. He said yes now.
Okay, He has said yes now. So God will now speak to the Fulani people.
That is why we're trying to calm everyone that is angry down. Calm down. Let God take His place. Those who have been telling you no. He is God. He knows how to wipe them out.
Okay, so we are now hoping that God will wipe away the Fulani because there is a problem.
By the time you go together, He will wipe off their stubbornness. Okay. He will visit them in His own way. He will show Himself as God to them. That stubbornness, He will wipe it out. The
stubbornness, they might be taking my land though. The stubbornness are waiting for
don't
God.
Worry, everything will be short now. Okay. All those things cannot work again. God has spoken July 1st. We are just in July 5th. Let us see His move and His power. He is God.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much. Please stay on the line.
God.
Don't go away. Stay on the line, please. Do not go away. Stay where you are, please. Stay where you are. That was the prophetess. I think it is Adetutu Shibajo, is that correct?
Oyetutu.
Oyetutu, I'm very sorry. I do apologize. Oyetutu Adebajo, who saw a vision. The reason why I brought her to the program is that Biafra is going to be a democracy. Biafra is going to be where people will have divergent views. We don't all need to agree all the time on any particular issue. That was why I brought her in, because the world needs to know that this very platform is democratic enough to allow divergent views to be heard. That is the type of Biafra we are fighting for and we are seeking to build. Now, we know that our God, the God we serve, is not a God of confusion. This is not a God that will mislead or lead people astray or kill His children just for the fun of it. Now, if in 67 5 million people died, and all through the years, confab after confab, never yielded any results, the Fulanis always walk away. I am now at a pain to understand on what basis God will allow something that He did not create to continue to exist. Because God created Oduduwa. That is why if you go online now and you type in, that was why I pleaded with you to allow your daughter to do some research for us. But we have listeners all over the world and we want them to do this research. Now, this is how you know the nations that God actually created. It's very simple. What you need to do is that you go online. You can go to Google if you want. Now, I want to, as I'm talking to you, I am typing into Google. I want to ask God in heaven, who created Oduduwa? Who created Oduduwa? Oduduwa is older than even Britain. So I want to ask God, who created Oduduwa? Very simple. If you type it down, you will see that Oduduwa descended from God Himself. That is according to their folklore. Nobody created Oduduwa. The same thing, if you type in who created England. Let us say England, for example. Who created? What I want to say is that what you saw was what God said, but the timing is not actually very clear. Which is why I want you to go back to God and ask Him, who created England? I'm asking. Ask yourselves again, who created England? Once again, this is how you know the nations that God created. If you type who created England, you will see that nobody created England. They will tell you about who succeeded who came in. The same thing for Russia, for Germany, for every ancient kingdom, even Ethiopia. Ask yourself, who created Ethiopia? Nobody. Now let us go and ask ourselves, who created Nigeria? This is why it is a man-made object, and why God cannot be speaking for a man-made object. I want to ask, who created Nigeria? If you want to know who created Nigeria, immediately you go into Google. It will tell you, Lord Lugard created Nigeria 104 years ago. You see my point? Lord Lugard created Nigeria. And I want you to go and ask yourself, who created Hausa people? Who created Hausa? For instance, this I'm telling you the nations that God Almighty built, not man. Who created Hausa people? Who created them? Who created Hausa? Let us go and check who created Hausa people. Nobody created Hausa people. It was founded. There's a difference between founding a nation and creating one. If you go now and ask your Google who created Oduduwa, you will not see any human being. Never. If you ask who created Biafra, you cannot see any. If you ask who created Hausa, you cannot see any. Even if you ask who created Fulani, you cannot see any. But once you say who created Nigeria, you will see a man's name appear. In other words, they are assuming the position of God Almighty. Only God can create a nation. So, in my conclusion, how I saw your vision, my personal opinion, is that your vision is about the division of Nigeria. Not bringing it under anyone, because God did not create Nigeria. I have proven it now that God never created Nigeria, but God created Hausa. God created Oduduwa. God created Tizi. God created Biafra. God created all these people. You can never hear a person say, I created this very place. Only God can create a nation and not man. That is why Nigeria cannot survive. Not out of hatred for anybody, heaven knows. And as you quite rightly said, in a divided Nigeria, everybody can go. You're in America. I'm sure you own a house in America. Your church is in Bronx. You own a church in Bronx. Is anybody going to demolish it tomorrow? Is anybody going to deny you your house tomorrow? The same thing I said in Biafra land. We will even go to Oduduwa land, Yoruba, to go and bring. If you're paying your people $50,000 a year equivalent, we will pay them 80. If they are good, we will headhunt them and bring them down to Biafra land to work for us. That is the type of nation we are going to build. Not a nation based on parochial interest. If we see in Biafra land, if we know there is a Hausa engineer that is very good, that can do something, believe you me, we'll go and bring him in to come to Biafra land to work for us. That is the type of nation we are going to build. And that is why I welcome your call this very day. I thank you very much.
Hold on, let me quickly say one thing.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
They know the message I've given. And they find out everything was like that. I just want to tell you, don't fight against God.
Now I'm asking you, how can God allow?
Hold on. He will reveal himself to you.
People are listening and we need clarification.
He will reveal himself to you after we have finished this discussion. He is God. He is not a liar. And the way you will go out to do it and still be a Biafra region, he will tell you. He is God. Nobody works as independent. You are nothing without God by your back.
Of course. I agree.
If human beings say they will support you, they can die overnight before they say they want to support you. But true. With God, He is your power. He is your strength. He is the one that can make you achieve what you want to do. So if God says, I say, nobody contradicts God. That is why.
But the family is saying that God said there should be no restructuring.
There will be. They are not God.
No, but that is why they are God telling the Quran.
I want to appeal to you. They are not God. I want you. You are a Christian. I want you to honor God, respect God, believe in Him, trust Him. He's not a liar. Whatever He says, He will complete it unto the end. You as a woman being, let me tell you, those who said have been doing it since 1967, they were under a race. They are not under grace.
But I don't know how that grace, I don't know how it's going to appear again.
Hold on, please. I just want to explicate this. They were under a race as human beings trying to make sure it stands. But now, grace, God is involved now. Because between grace and grace is God.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I will be with you.
I agree with you. But why won't, prophetess, please hold on, please, ma. Hold on. Why would God divide Yoruba land into two? Put one in Benin Republic and the other one in Nigeria. Why? Why would he do that?
Bygone is bygone. That has been done. We are Nigeria. Bygone is bygone. You understand me?
But I have been able to prove to you now that God never created. But God didn't create Nigeria. Look at this.
You know, I am used to it as a woman of God. Even when I'm speaking in the midst of big men of God, they attack me. I'm used to it.
No, nobody. Heaven forbid, nobody can attack you. Nobody is attacking you.
They contradict it.
No.
But I always say, wait and see. When it comes to God, we will all see. And we will know it is God who spoke.
Thank you very much.
It was the set time. God will be with you.
And you too. And I look forward to welcoming you back on this very platform and remain blessed. Remain blessed. Thank you very, very much. Remain blessed. People are now calling from everywhere, all over the world. The program this evening, we have our live interactive sessions mostly on Fridays. I allowed our mother in the Lord, so to speak, to come and tell us the part of her vision that I accepted was the division into 4. Not the other one, still under Nigeria. No, maybe it was when God was taking away all the green, white, green flag. She may have seen green, white, green, but it wasn't God at all, because I've proven it here. God cannot. Our prophetess said that what transpired in 1967 was the work of men. If we accept it was the work of men, that the Almighty God doesn't validate the works of men, then there is no way God can validate something created by a man. It's a very simple experiment. I want everybody to go to Google and type in Google, who created Oduduwa? Who created Biafra? One after the other. All the ancient kingdoms you know. Who created them? In fact, who created USA? That is very recent. Who created Canada? You can never see a human being's name. But I want you to go and type in who created Nigeria. What you will see is Lord Lugard created Nigeria 104 years ago. Now, if God doesn't respect the timetable of man, why would God validate something that a man made? Why would God divide something he made, Oduduwa, into two? Put a part of them in Benin Republic, and he didn't do it, it was man that did it. The French and the British that cut the Yoruba land into two. One in Benin Republic, and the other one in Nigeria. How can God do that to his people? And then put them together with half Arabs from Borno? How is that possible? I just want to know. I don't think the vision was complete. But she will go, I'm sure she will come back to us. She will come back to us. As somebody said, we are not wishing for anybody to lose their child to Fulani headsmen. I want the world to understand that we take divergent views here. We don't need people who always agree with us. Sometimes it is good to test ourselves against those who don't agree with us and be able to give them the platform to be able to preach that conviction which they have. We must proceed. And being part of our program this very evening, we are making it abundantly clear to all those who are willing to listen, to everybody who is willing to listen, that those of you entertaining or harboring the intention of steering Nigeria towards the path of devolution, or should I say regional autonomy, that ship has sailed. We are no longer there again. We are no longer there again. We cannot have it. Do you know why? As I'm sure that a Burial Accord has been published. If you go and read it right now on my page, not the outcome, I'll publish the outcome next week. What I wanted to do today was to go into the corruption in the zoo. But I discovered that this prophetess rang and said she had something to say. And I said to her, I want you to say this to the hearing of the whole world. And she just did. What we are now going to do is to proceed very cautiously towards this very lecture that we have this evening. It centers around her conviction that the zoo should be won, which I vehemently disagree with. Because of a simple thing that she said. She said that 67 was the work of men. I think there was another confab in 1984 or thereabouts? Was that the work of men? Yes, I agree. Also, the work of men, let me use the recent one, not the Abacha one. Abacha called a conference as well. Let's use the most recent one, 2014 of Jonathan's confab. So it was the work of men in 67, work of men in 84, the work of men in 2014. But Nigeria was created by a man. Now, how can God preserve the creation of a man, which is Nigeria, but say no to when men are trying to carry out that same vision that he showed to our dear sister? That's what I don't understand. That's the only place where I am having a slight confusion. Because Nigeria is artificial, it is man-made, and that is why we must try all we can to make sure that it no longer exists. There will be 4 nations emerging. That is the part of her prophecy that I want us to take away. And all these people will cooperate. The Fulanis will go back to Futajaran where they came from. The Hausas can travel, mingle, and stay wherever they like. The Middle Belt nation will mingle and do whatever they like. The same thing with Oduduwa and also Biafra as well. One thing we're not going to have is a monolithic, unwielding, irredeemable zoo called Nigeria. It cannot happen. Never, ever, ever. Now, it may be that all these 4 nations emerging will decide to come together and negotiate to form a union. That is their prerogative. Maybe that is where she's going to. That these 4 newly emerged nations from the contraption that Lugard concocted and built may now decide to come together to form a new nation. That is entirely up to them. The people will vote and the people will decide. That is how it's going to be. From here on in, what we decide is what the people want. Because they said the voice of the people is the voice of God. We cannot say it. God cannot speak to one person. God speaks to a lot of people. So that is why they say Vox Populi, Vox Dei, which means the voice of the people is the voice of God. Not the voice of one person, but the voice of the people. And the people are saying they are tired. Oduduwas are saying that they want to be free. The Yoruba say, we want to be free. Biafrans are saying we want to be free. Middle Belt wants to be free. Hausa underburden wants to be free. Because they went and everything our dear sister was saying, the prophetess, everything she is saying, Ojukwu discussed at Aburi. Everything, absolutely everything. Everything. Ojukwu argued for decentralization. They came back. The conference finished between the 7th and the 10th. People must note this down. Between the 7th and the 10th of January of 1967 in Ghana, they held this summit. And they agreed. Now remember that the war broke out in Ojukwu declared Biafra on the 30th of May. I want people and historians to note this very, very carefully. I want to put to bed all the misinformation and the lies surrounding the emergence of Biafra. Very, very critical we understand this. According to this very documentation, this very document now posted on my wall, if you go there, it doesn't originally belong to me. It was published by codewith.org. The man that put this very, it was from the 5th, from the 5th to the 7th of January 1967. Follow the timeline very carefully. They went to Aburi and they agreed. Ojukwu came back, waited for that January, waited for February, March, April, and May. Are you following me? January, Gowon didn't implement the restructuring of Nigeria, no. February, no restructuring. March, no restructuring. April, no restructuring. Until the end of May, pure 5 solid months, waiting for a gentleman's agreement that was reached in Aburi to implement it. And they said no. Before Ojukwu declared Biafra on the 30th of May. Having attended Aburi between the 5th and the 7th of January. But your historians never tell you this. Those who claim that they are historians, they never tell you this. Never, ever, ever. They never tell you this. Ojukwu waited for 5 months, waiting for Gowon to implement Aburi. Because Britain said no. Because the Janjaweed, Fulani Janjaweed said no. Gowon remained on Aburi for 5 months, not implemented, before Ojukwu declared Biafra. And now you understand the history very well. And all their lies. That is why their lies can never stand the scrutiny of time. Their lies can never ever stand. Because what people fail to understand is this. What people fail to acknowledge is this. That the devil is using the cloak of Nigeria to advance his cause. Because it was the devil that built Nigeria. It was the devil that used a very horrible man to create Nigeria, not God. God never created Nigeria, not for 1 second. Because had God created Nigeria, you will not see the name Lord Lugard created Nigeria 104 years ago. And if you remain in Nigeria, in Nigeria, once you remain in Nigeria, your Lord is faith. I want to tell you what the Hausas are going through at the hands of the Fulani people. So you understand it very well. And I thought that by now, we would have had people interpreting what I'm saying and letting the whole world of Hausa speakers and hearers understand the importance of this very message. Now listen very carefully. Sokoto used to be called Gobe, belonged to Hausa people. The Fulanis traveled and came from all over the place, and Futojalom to be very precise, came and pleaded with, they said to the Hausa people, let's trade together. Let's be one. This same one Nigeria. I want you to understand very carefully. They came. After a while, they defeated the Hausa people with the help of Hausa people. I was speaking to a very important personality. Important personality yesterday. And you know what he told me? He said, I went to the north. He's from Middle Belt. He said, I went to the north. You know that thing they call Dover? If you like, you can Google it. You know Dover they have when the emir or the, you know, like it's like Ofala in the north. The Ofala of the north. They said our FM is not working. What is it supposed to be? Why is our FM not working, for goodness sake? Why is it not working, I ask? Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Now, there is something called Durban. D-U-R-B-A. Durban Festival. Not Durban, Durban. D-U-R-B-A-R. It is celebrated around Ramadan. It's a Muslim holiday in the north. I want anybody to go to Durban in the north. You will see the light-skinned. That same thing, about Black Lives Matter. You will see light-skinned mongrels, that is the Fulanis, on top of a camel or a horse. They are the royal family. And you will see Hausa peasants following them on foot, doing rankadede. Not their fellow Fulanis, but Hausa people. Because they conquered Hausa people. And how was it possible that a minority, the same thing you know tells is, how was it possible for a minority, a few Fulanis, moving cattle from place to place to conquer a people with an envious civilization in Africa, like the Hausa people? How was that possible? They did it by doing what they do now. They divide you and they tell you they're bringing you something better. They're going to fight corruption. They're going to institute a purer form of Islam. They're going to take you closer to God. And you lose your land in the process. That was how the Hausa people lost Sokoto. That was how they lost even Kanu. They lost Katsina. They lost Kebi. They lost Zasao. Everywhere they lost. Do you know how they lost it? They lost it because they campaigned against their own people. I am saying this because of the few Efulefus who think that by fighting Biafra that somehow, or talking rubbish, that they are making their lives better. They are preparing themselves for conquest. Themselves and their children and those unborn. Do you know what is happening today? I want anybody to tell me if this is a lie. The Sultan of Sokoto, where is he from? He's a Fulani man. He is a Sultan in a land that belongs to Hausa people. How about the Emir of Kanu, which is the heartbeat of Hausa people? He is a Fulani. How about the Emir of Gwandu? He is Fulani, not Hausa. How about the Emir of Kirby? He is Fulani, not Hausa. How about the Emir even of a Lorin in Yoruba land? He is not a Yoruba man. The Emir of a Lorin is not even a Yoruba Muslim or Ududuwa Muslim. The Emir of a Lorin is Fulani, not Yoruba, not Ududuwa. The Emir of Zazao is Fulani, not Hausa. The governor of Sokoto State is Fulani, not Hausa. Whereas the Hausa is in the majority. The governor of Katsina State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Zamfara State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Kanu State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Kanu State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Jigawa State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Gombe State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Kebbi State is Fulani, not Hausa. Governor of Taraba State is Fulani, not Christian nor Hausa. Governor of Nasarawa State is Fulani, not Hausa. The governor of Borno State is Fulani, not even Kanuri. All the major imams in the core Sharia Arewa zone in the Sahel in the north, they are all Fulanis. There is no frontline imam that is a Hausa man. Now, do you understand? Now do you understand what they have in store for you? The more they preach one Nigeria under one unity, the more they enter into you and take you over. They came to Imo State. They could not impose a Fulani man in Imo State. They got the next best thing, which is Opuzarima. They are stooge and they are slave. They are stooge and they are slave. Such people can never ever out in this life earn or have our respect. It's impossible. You have come to do us harm. You are working for the enemy. You have come to destroy the children of light. You can never, ever, ever earn or deserve or merit our respect. All the emirs in all the northern states are all Fulanis, not Hausa. Because the Fulanis killed all the Hausa kings, killed all the high chiefs, and replaced all Hausa kings with Fulani, either as a sultan or as an emir. There was a genocide in the north as well. The first victims of Fulani genocide were the Hausas. The second victims of Fulani genocide were the Nupe people. The third victims of Fulani genocide are the Oduduwa people, the Yoruba, the Oduduwa people. And the fourth victim were Biafrans. The fifth victim is now the TV people, those in the middle belt. That's how they roll. And they are managing to do all these things before, when they were slaughtering the Hausa people or their kings with the help of their fellow, with the help of the Hausa peasants. They said they were bringing you a better Islam, fighting corruption. When that one finished, they now came down to the Nupes, slaughtered them. We are bringing you better Islam. When they went into Oduduwa land, slaughtered them in the Lorraine and took their land, until the Yoruba, the Alaafin of Oyo, ran into the forest. Because the Fulani cavalry, that is men, fighting men on the back of a horse, could not fight in a tropical region. That was the only thing that saved the Oduduwa kingdom, the Yorubas. If not, by now, they will be like the Lorraine people. Do you understand it? Do you understand? They tried it in Egala, they succeeded. As I said the other time. Do you understand the mess you're in? All of you toying with this one Nigeria garbage. Do you see the mess you are storing up for your children? All of you should go and write a book, a memoir, saying, oh, I wanted to be in one Nigeria. The Fulanis are coming. Because those who ignore history have a way of repeating it. That's what I've always argued from day one. If you ignore what happened to the Hausa people, what happened to the Biron people, what happened to the Nupe people, what happened to the Bashama people, what happened to the Baji people, what happened to Yoruba people, you also will be consumed. You will be swallowed. And our history in the next 50-60 years will be that of the history of Hausa people that own Sokoto, yet there is nothing there for them. Is that the type of life you want for yourself and your children? Is that what you want? Now you understand what we are fighting for, or should I say what we are fighting against. The time now is 2 minutes past 8 p.m. in the evening in the blessed land of Biafra. The same number of minutes past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are. And the person who kindly composed this very damage the Fulanis have done to the Hausas is Okoye Vincent, and I thank him very much for that. He titled it The Bitter Truth, and I want to be published everywhere. That so when you're talking about one Nigeria, let's have one Nigeria, let's have one Nigeria and have regions in. I want you to know what awaits you and your people. This is how the devil works. This is the work of they will blind you, the devil will blind you, so you can no longer see very clearly. So you can no longer see clearly. These are the things that you must understand. Please, you shouldn't, some of you should not speak ill of the prophet. That was the vision that she saw, and she's within her rights to share it with the rest of the world. That is why democracy and freedom of speech is a very good thing. You demolish people with the strength of your argument, the superiority of the reasons and the way you marshal them. Please, she is more than entitled to her opinion. If you say that God created Nigeria, you ask Google, who created Nigeria? It's only if you're telling me that a white man is God, if you're telling me that Lugard is God, then I'll believe you. Because it's there in black and white. Who created Nigeria? Lugard did in 104 years ago. That tells you all you need to know. If you don't want to be like the Hausa people, if you don't want the fate that befell Hausa people to befall you, then you must campaign to go back to where you come from. Everybody must. Where were you before the white man came? Who were you? What sort of political union did you have before Lugard came and named you Nigeria? Who were you? Or are you trying to denigrate your history? Are you trying to dismiss who you were, your identity? Then when a white man treats you bad, you start complaining about racism. When you yourself, you have no regard for who you are. You have no regard for your history. How then can you expect somebody else to have regard for you when you have no regard for yourself? Very, very important. People are calling from everywhere. We take calls only on Friday mornings, please. The rest of the time we lecture. I may be in the mood, I may be a bit generous, and allow people to speak later on as we proceed. But it is very, very important that people understand what we are passing through. We don't expect everybody to support what we are doing and the way we are doing it. That would be very, very foolish of us, no, not at all. But you better have a very valid reason, because we have 1,001 reasons as to why we do things the way we do them. That is why we are potent. That is why for anybody to be relevant, you must mention our name. If you don't mention Nnamdi, Kanu, or Ipob or Biafra, nobody will know you are there. You are irrelevant. You are inconsequential. For you to be relevant, there are 3 names you must mention. You must mention Ipob. You must mention Biafra. You must mention Mazi JOHNATHAN. If you don't mention any of these 3, you are nobody. You cannot generate traffic. Nobody will know who you are. That is the strength of the hold we have over you. That is how strong we are. That is why I keep saying we don't expect everybody to support Biafra agitation. Some people will behave like Hausa peasants. They will see danger coming, but they cannot read it until it's too late. That is why today you have a handful of Fulani people ruling and subjugating Hausa people. That is why they made them Janjaweed, they made them Alamajiri. That is how sad things are. Unless you want that type of future for your people, then you must support this very agitation led by Ipob. Because earlier today I had a meeting with very important people in our land. Very, very important. You know, people have views and opinions, and I allow people to hold whatever view or opinion that they feel comfortable to hold. It is entirely up to them, their prerogative. You cannot separate somebody from the views or the opinions that they have within them. That was why earlier today, before I came on air, I was in a meeting with some very important people. They had some things to say to me, and I also had some things to say to them. And I'm glad to say that in the end, we came to an amicable understanding about the best way for us to proceed. But there are a few standout things that came out of that very meeting. One is that there is unanimity that the consumption of cow meat in our land must stop. If you have not seen the videos or pictures of Fulani men having sex with cattle, please go and have a look at it. And to encourage our people all over the world to please invest. We are not just supremely talented, but we are blessed. We are a blessed race. If we put our heart and our minds towards animal husbandry in the area of cattle, we'll do very well. And I want our people to go into it. We are winding down our consumption of cow meat. Let us see the reason and excuse that we have to come into our land to slaughter our people at will. To slaughter our people at will. That is not going to happen. It will not happen. So we are running down the clock on the consumption of cow meat. Very, very important that we pay attention. The more cow meat you eat, the more you are not just endangering your life, you are putting the rest of our people in jeopardy. Because if nobody buys their cattle, they will not come. Very, very important you understand this. Please. That was one of the major outcomes of our gathering today. And we are concerned, and rightfully so, I presume, about how we respond to those who disagree with us. They want us to take it easy on those who disagree with us. And I said to them that I will do everything within my powers to ensure that that is the case. And there are people that we are the ones who are hurt because we are the ones that they conspired against to kill. They came to kill us. They conspired to kill us. But unfortunately for them, not all of us were killed. So I have taken on board what they have said because they are men and women that I have a lot of respect for. And going forward, we shall seek a very amicable way for those who may disagree with us in public to be able to voice their opinion without antagonizing those of us who are in very massive pain. That was my assurance to them going forward, and we intend to keep it. We intend to keep it. No consumption of cow meat in our land. It is going to be phased. It's something we are used to from childhood. So it's going to take a while for those local farmers to be able to bring their meat on board. Very, very important, please. Now, those who are complaining that we insult them, that we are not very respectful, should look at what is happening in the north. Should look at what happened in Oduduwa land. And understand that if you have a contrary opinion about Biafra, if you don't believe in IPOB and Biafra agitation, please keep your mouth shut. Because if you voice your opinion and we consider